Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
I was bored tonight, so I thought I'll do some charting with everybody.
Bored with the baby?
I should say I should try to get away.
I like that charting is your escape.
Yeah, I was just doing some scans because next week's going to be interesting. We're either going to break out and continue upwards, or we're going to get rejected. So if it does go upwards, there will be a lot of buying opportunities because there's a lot of things that's oversold right now. So and it's going towards the high seasonality, right? So
Typically, don't you see that the end of September is like there's like another dip before it comes back in October?
oh yeah, there is. This year's a little bit different. I find that I think this year we're a little bit about a month ahead of ourselves because we did get like the Russell 2000 got their dip last month or the month before, right? And because he corrected 10%, and usually that's a September correction. This year we're a little bit earlier. I find that a lot of stuff corrected a bit earlier than usual. So it might be a little bit about a month ahead because there's a lot of growth themes there picking up in volume and start breaking out. So, and a lot of setups are on the verge of breaking out as well. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think then the Santa Claus rally will end a month earlier? Like it'll pull
Uh,
back before?
yeah, because this year, this year there's a lot of like headline news risk, right? So any kind of like taper news and anything that's like headline from the Fed policy changes and even from China news, it can
Yeah.
like really destroy the market.
Great.
So I've been having a lot of cash on the sidelines, and I've been waiting all summer to try to deploy some of that cash. So I'm starting to deploy some of that now. I'm not going all in. I'll wait to see what happens in October, but I think I should start putting some money to work now. So because there's a lot of good setups.
Are you going debit yet or still?
Oh yeah, I've been buying calls lately,
Okay.
right? So yeah, mostly for January calls, so a little bit longer term. But yeah, there's been a really good setups lately. So like apps been really good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and EXPI start to look really really good. Tesla's looking really good. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and anyway, we're gonna go through some of those charts today just to see what's there. And I just did a little scan earlier for like random stocks to trade, just to see how many are being set up for breakouts. I have on in TC 2000, I could scan for like potential breakout charts. So I just want to share my screen. So this doesn't look as that great because it's not on the ultra wide monitor, but I like to scan charts with 3 time frames, right? I have the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. So I looked at daily for entry levels. I look at the weekly for like the setups, and I look at the monthly for the overall direction that it's going to go to, right? So I've been looking at the indexes a lot for like the past month or so because I've been waiting for a decent sized correction like for the whole summer, and we never really got it till last week. That was a fair sized correction. I thought we wouldn't go all the way down to 200, which it can still do that. Right. If you look at this, we came back and we like penetrated the 100-day moving average and we got bought up, right? They bought the dip. So you can see the volume right here. That's dip buying volume, right? We tried 2 days to try to break this 21-day moving average for a continuation higher. We still haven't done that yet. So on Monday, if things don't work the way that I wanted to, it can potentially do this, right? So there's a lot of setups, but I'm waiting for confirmations before I get into them because right now we're still in that territory where it can still reverse back down. But if if it works well, if we actually break back above, we have like this level right here that I'm looking at for rejection, right? So if we can break past this level here, most likely we're going to continue higher and make a new all-time high, and then we're just going to go into the Santa rally seasonality, right? So, but if we are going to get choppy, just going to probably go sideways for a little bit for September, October, and then we're going to break out in November or end of October. So see how things work out. The IWM though start looking really good. We have an inside bar within the daily. So if we can break out of this range, it's been trading in the range for like the past year, right? It's just going sideways. This is the small caps, right? So if we actually break out of this area, there could be a big run on those high growth names, on the small cap name. So I've been looking out for this to break it up. Right now, it's looking fairly well because it's bouncing off the 200-day moving average for 3 times now, right? So as long as you can hold this area right here, you can see the moving averages right here getting all stacked together, right? So if we get that breakout of this level right here for that continuation, it can be a really good rally for the small caps. And small caps is like what I trade a lot of because you could get the most explosive moves with those kind of names. But you know, I trade all kind of market cap, but small caps is what I concentrate on because I like the big movements in those because I'm a technical trader. I like to make as much money as quick as possible, right? So, right. So I have a list of stocks I've been scanning today for the breakouts. Do you guys have any chart requests that you guys want me to take a look at first? Sure. You guys can just type it in the chat, or you can just open mic as well if you guys want to look at some charts that you have, stocks that you guys have.
Could you do Airbnb?
Airbnb, yeah, Airbnb broken out. So we were in this, right, and then I got out when the market was correcting, and Airbnb actually went the other direction. It's just continued to go up. So just 1 second. So this was the important level right here. All right, this 160 306 here, that peak. Once we've broken out the peak, you see that you retested the 21-day and you continue higher. So right now it's looking to go into this 180 area, 183, to retest this area right here. So if you go out to the weekly, there's actually a big triangle pattern that is being developed, right? So it's going, the highs are coming down right here. So it's looking around that 180, 185 area to go into that upper channel of that wedge. So it is getting a little bit extended right now, but I think that with the reopening plays, it's getting really strong. So we could see that big push, a retracement, and then a breakout later on. But see what happens at this level right here. This is what it's aiming for right now. So if it breaks out of here, then most likely we want to go test this and then go test the highs, right? But if we get rejected right here, most likely it's going to come back, retest this level right here, this 155, 160 area. So you'll look something like, so you can come down. So it's going to come retest this, and then it's going to go for another run on that, right? If it does come down. If not, it's just going to break straight out. And I see that with a lot of the reopening plays, you're getting really strong volume as well. So yeah, this could be a really good move. See, this is accumulation volume right here. See the big giant spikes of volume at around the 50-day moving averages. These are institutional buyers coming in right here. So after they get in, you know, they start pushing the stock up, right? So they got in here, they start pushing it up. So
Cool. Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm sorry. One thing I'm looking at for next week is Tesla. So Tesla's right at that edge where it's about to make a big breakout. So this is a really important node right here to 780. So we did a pretty good push right up to around that 780 area. So we had like this little consolidation right here, and then some big volume. I wish there was more volume coming through for this breakout, but it's bigger than average, but it's not huge, right? I was looking more something like volume like that right here. See, if you look at previously compared to now, the volume still relatively low compared to before, but that doesn't mean it won't break out. So next week we should get our answer. If this breaks out, we're gonna go test this new all-time high, right? We want to test this high right here around 900. Which is a big psychological area. So if it breaks out, I'm most likely going to trade this for the next few weeks till we hit around that $900 area. Most likely buying weekly calls on this.
Are you going to enter on the breakout, or are you going to wait for a retracement, like a retest?
I've been day trading a lot of the options, so I'm probably going to enter on the breakout on the day trade. And then I'll take profits. And then if it comes back to retest, or maybe I'll hold it for a few days longer to see if we get that continuation into that $900 area, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we are, like I said, we're entering into November, which is a high, it's a good seasonality for like these large growth stocks. So it is being set up for a rally into that November. So we could even see it breaking out of this $900 area if it picks up volume, right? So right now it's just the setup is perfect. Just looking for that follow through. And if it gets rejected, right? This is a level right here, this 750 area. Make sure it doesn't fall below that. If you fall below 750, you should probably get out, because if it breaks that, then most likely it's going to come back and retest the $700 area at the bottom part of the channel. And then you can start like tighten up into a range like this before the real breakout. So, and we also are in a squeeze as well. So it's looking really good. So apps is one of the stocks that we traded last week, and this was like a textbook setup, right? It's a wedge pattern coming down, and then it came down and then retested. It bounced around the 200-day moving average where it gets all stacked, and then we have nice clean breakout with volume right here, right? You can see like over here there was massive accumulation by institutional buyers right here to get into the stock. So right now it was set up for a breakout, and then we finally am breaking out. We're looking at that $80 range to take profits. So they took part of it off at 80. I'm gonna take a little bit more off, and then if that breaks, we most likely want to test 90, and then perhaps go into like a new all-time high. Are you in this stock? Is anybody in the apps? Right. So this is ADI is one of the stocks I'm looking at as well. It just broke out of this range into an all-time high, and it looks like it will be a continuation into like the upper part of channel, most likely hitting up towards that $200 area. This is a really good semiconductor stock to get into. It's a large cap, but these stocks can really move. I'm super bullish on semiconductors because of the shortage, and I think semiconductors is, instead of becoming a single stock, it's going to be more of a long-term growth stock now for this sector. So I have a lot of SMH, which is the ETF for semiconductors, and I've been holding that for like the past few years, and it just goes up and up. So.
This is Blue Jays Baseball powered by Jack Links on the Sportsnet Radio Network. All of the savings at Robinson Daily.
So this is another stock that I got from a scan. So I know nothing about this stock. So I'm looking mostly just at the chart. So the chart right here is in this pattern right here. And these wedges, they tend to break out. So it's at this 200-day moving average right here with the moving averages stacked. And there's a big volume shelf right here. So if you can break above this volume shelf, which is around that 1650 area. So if you can break around that 1650, you can most likely go back up to like around that 22. So if you put like set an alert around right here for the breakout. So if it breaks out around here, I would enter this and go for that small play right here around that 22 area to get out.
You are our priority. Contact us at wellness.ca.
I just ask,
I'm sorry?
can I just ask about the breakouts that you had just said? So you set an alert for 1631, and you said if it breaks out from the 1631, then it can potentially go all the way to the previous all-time high, right?
Yeah.
So how come if you look back at around, I guess, June, like between June and July, like that was another peak, right?
Right here?
No, go a little bit further back.
Here?
Yeah, like around there. Yeah. That's like a little bit. So would that not act as a resistance?
Yes, it will. It will be more of like a general area, right? So if it breaks out of here, usually it goes past this and go beyond. So this is like the first area. If it breaks out of here, it becomes a higher high. So like this would be the high of this move. And then if we break out of here, it will become a higher high. And then if it does pull back, it's most likely going to make a higher low. So you'll have a higher high, higher low, and then continuation.
Okay, so it could still get trapped there for a little bit, but ultimately it'll break past it.
Yeah. From what I've seen, like I trade a lot of these patterns. So most of the time, what happens is we get like a straight out breakout and just keeps going and breaks everything and just keep going on high volume, or we just break, retest, and then go for the real breakout shortly afterwards. Right. So what I normally do is I enter a little bit, like 1/3 of my intentional position. So if you want to go in with say 1,000 or 900 shares, you go in with 300, and then you add on the breakout. And then once it clears this area right here, you can add that last third for that last ride up to that around that $22 area.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, and I know, like I said, I know nothing about this stock. I'm trading strictly off just the charts. And if you do buy these breakouts, you usually set a stop around halfway mark of the consolidation area. So if it actually breaks back below like the moving averages, that's when you want to get out, right? So as long as you have a risk reward of 2 for 1, like you make $2 and you set your stop loss for $1, right? Okay, so this is another one that just broken out. It's a semiconductor stock as well. So like you see like this big long downtrend right here, right? So there's this downtrend right here. It went out of it, consolidated around this area where all the moving averages stacked together. And now we just broken out of it with volume, right? So, and it's in a squeeze. So if it can break past this, you'll potentially go for these areas right here, right? So these would be like your resistance areas on the way up. And if you can use the Fibonacci to test that, right? So if you bring down the Fibonacci, like this level right here would be a 50% retracement off the bottom. And the 0.618 is right on this peak. So it kind of matches on the levels. See how it matches exactly with the Fibonacci on the levels of resistance on the way up. Actually, a lot of bank stocks start looking really attractive. Like if you look at XLF, which is the bank sector, it's creating like a consolidation area. It's like this for almost all of the bank stocks. It's like a consolidation right here. And it has all the moving averages stacked together as well. It's potentially looking for a breakout or breakdown, right? So if you set the alerts on the upper range or at the bottom range, if it breaks up, you getting with some calls. If it breaks down, going with some puts. Because if it breaks down that 200-day moving average, it's a long way down. The support would be like around this area right here. So if it breaks around that 35 and it comes down to 31, that's not a bad trade right there. If it does break down, if it breaks up, potentially the next leg up is quite good. If you use the extension. So the next level leg up, you could run as high as around $50, right? If it actually breaks out and just runs. And bots, it's like an ETF that I've been holding forever. It also broken out. It was in the same consolidation pattern, right? It was in like this wedge pattern right here. Around the moving averages, stack broken out with volume. And right now it's looking for continuation on the next leg up. And this stock, same thing. If you take like the extension, this is an ETF. This is a robotics AI ETF. This is one of the sectors that I really love for like future proofing your portfolio. So I have this in my long-term portfolio. Yeah, same thing. Around 52 is the target. So around 50, 52. If this breaks out, it has kind of like a little bull flag going on right now. So this is one of my favorite ETFs to get right. This and Hack is one of my favorite ETFs. So CVE, the oil sector is starting to look really, really attractive on the weekly charts. If you go into the weekly chart, you see how it's forming a nice cup and handle around the 200-day moving average. We just broke above the 200-day on the weekly. That usually means something fundamentally changed with the sector. So if we can actually break the high of this at this $11, if you can break above this, this thing can really run. This is a very similar chart with a lot of the oil stocks as well. They're talking about oil stocks going back above $100 a barrel. And if it does, most likely this is like a saucer bottom that's being developed on the weekly. So potentially these things could have a huge comeback if it does hit that high, because once it's above $70, they're literally printing money. So it's going to be like big up like this, right? It's at that, it's developing this bottom saucer bottom right now. So it can potentially break out and run up back up to this level right here, which is around 32. It's trading at like just under $10 right now. So I might actually buy some leaps on these energy stocks and just leave them for the next year to see what happens. Dish. Back into this. So Dish is being set up on the monthly. So it's in like consolidation. If you look at the monthly chart right here, it's consolidating just above like the highs right here. And potentially if he breaks this high, we could come back and retest around that $60 area. if it breaks back above, because right now on the monthly chart, it's stacked moving averages on the monthly, and on the weekly as well. It's looking really good for like the next leg up. Devon's another energy stock that I really like. If you look at the weekly, same thing, stack moving averages. It's about to break out. That $35 an important level. So we break out 35, most likely hit 46, 45, 46, around 45.50. Yeah, 45.50 right here. That's the target. And then you look at the monthly. It's also trying to form like a inverse head and shoulder right here. So what I mean by that, it's going to come down, go up to here, retest, and then a breakout into this area right here around $80 if it runs. So a lot of these energy stocks have really high potential of going much, much higher. So I would get some exposure in that. As long as oil stays above $60, these stocks should do really, really well over time. Ford is something I got into last week on this consolidation around on this consolidation right here on this trend line. So I seen it consolidate, and then you see there was a big squeeze going on Ford. So I got in with some leaps right here. So I'm looking for a target of $15. And then I'll probably get rid of half. And then if it runs, most likely it's going to run back to the highs right here if it does. Look at the weekly. So on the weekly, you see that it did an inverse head and shoulder around the 200-day moving average right here. See that it did inverse head and shoulders, and then it broken out, retested this level, retested, tried to retest this, and then it came back, and we're now resting on this volume shelf right here, and then it's potentially going right back up and going higher. If you can break this like $18 to $19 area, it's going to go all the way back up, test the highs right here. So like potentially. Google. So Google's been a monster of a stock. And if you look at the weekly chart, we are holding that 8-day moving average on the weekly chart, and it looks like continuation going much higher. So if you want to trade this, credit spreads is the way to go. I like to trade them on weekly call options as well. So whenever it comes down to about the 8-day moving average on the weekly, I like to buy a call option. So I might start trading Google next week, just on the weeklies for day trades and stuff. If you look at the daily, it just reclaimed that 21-day moving average. It found support at the 50, and you see like in the past, every single time it drops down to the 50, it just rebounds and continues higher. So this potentially be a really good stock to start selling credit spreads and buying some calls, because it's a pretty expensive stock. So that would be the only way you can play. It's either credit spreads or debit spreads or calls. Hack. So Hack's also one of my favorite ETFs. I've been in this like, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. And I just been holding it in my long-term account, and you see that it's in a nice pattern right here. When it did the triangle consolidation right here, I added. So it looks like we did a continuation, and now we've broken out of the peak right here. It came back, retest this. So it's holding the 50 again. So most likely we're going to break out and continue higher on this as well. You could buy, they don't really have like leaps, but you can buy like a 12 like a 6-month call or 8-month call or something like that. You can buy, or you can just get the shares or just sell at the money put spreads for this thing. I just buy shares on this. I don't really have options on this. Hilton Hotels, it's all-time highs. I was surprised because it's a hotel chain. So if you can break this high right here, I was looking for potential breakout. So if it breaks this high right here at 136.89, potentially it's going to come up to the upper part of the channels on the next leg up. So it's going to probably hit like 160, come back, and then continue higher. So this could be a pretty good stock to go in with some leaps as well if the reopening play happens. Intel is a boring stock, but it is consolidating into a big squeeze right here with the moving averages about stacked. So if you are going to play this, you can probably sell put spreads on this pretty safely. They do have earnings coming up, but I think if you can break this level right here, we're going to have a continuation into this and retest this highs right here again. We tested this high twice now. So if we are going to go up, this will be a heavy resistance area right here. And if you can break this, it's going to make a big run if you can break that. Because if you look at the weekly chart, even on the weekly chart, the moving average is all stacked right here. So if you can break this 58.50 area, most likely it's going to go up to this 68. So if you want to trade this, just set an alert on this horizontal line right here, and then just buy the breakout. Because you see the weekly, the momentum start shifting, MACD start trying to get above 0.9. And if it picks up momentum, most likely we're going to try the all-time highs again. This is a little stock that I find, and apparently they're supposed to be pretty good longer term. It has this really nice wedge pattern going on, and it's just about to break out. So I set horizontal line right here. I'm gonna set an alert. You see that I actually have an alert there already, that little clock. So I have an alert right here. If it breaks this area right here, I'm gonna go in and then potentially sell around this $24 area right here. If you look at the longer pattern, this is just starting to come out of this saucer bottom right here. So it potentially could have a huge run. All right, it could run into this 3640 area, and then you can go all the way back up to around like 60 or too high. So, but I'm only aiming for 25 right now until that breaks. If that breaks, then I'm aiming for 40. Sometimes you don't have to like know the stock that well, just trade the chart. So for me, I like to trade the charts. I buy the breakout, set my stop below the lows right here. So if it breaks out, then I'm going to add, and then I'm going to sell with my target. If it doesn't break out and get rejected, I'll get stop out at the bottom right here, and then I'll get out with a small loss. Right. As long as you trade these type of setups, you win more than you lose, or even if you win 50-50, your wins are going to be bigger than your losses, your losses. So you're going to make money over time. JP Morgan, same thing with Bank of America. You see, this is like a cup and handle type of pattern. What you're looking for is a break, either break of the highs right here or break of the lows right here. So it can go either direction, but most likely from this pattern, it's a bullish setup. So we're looking for a break over 167. If it breaks 167, there'll be most likely run to $200 area. So. Right, so this stock is a continuation pattern. It's in the uptrend. Uptrend with a continuation consolidation triangle right here. So you see right here, we're in a big uptrend, consolidation. You're looking for a breakout of this right here, this candle right here. If it breaks above that, hits up here, gets right here, and then it's going to go for the next run up. So if it breaks right here, just add, set a stop probably around like middle part of the triangle. Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin trades in a range. So this is the range is in. And we're at the bottom part of the range. I think they just passed like a defense bill or something like that. So Lockheed Martin's like one of the biggest names for defense. And the last time I traded this was down here at the consolidation, because it's been tested here multiple times around this area. So we came back and retest this area again, and it looks like it had like a nice gap up right here. So it gapped above the 21-day moving average. This is, if you can buy leaps on this thing, it's really cheap. I think it's about like 10 or 15% premium for a 1-year leap. You can buy this and just leave it, not touch it, and just wait till it gets to the upper range and just sell it. I've been trading this a couple of times in the past year or so. So the last time I traded this was around right here when it broke above this consolidation. And then I sold it around halfway through the range right here. So I was going to go back in, and then it gapped up. So I'm waiting for a pullback to fill that gap. If he comes back and fill that gap and holds, and then the continue move up, that'll be your entry right there. Live Nation, this is a reopen play as well. They do like those big concerts and stuff. It's a pretty good stock to hold. I traded this a couple times this year, and you see right here, it's a really nice consolidation right here, around that 200-day. Wait for all the moving averages to get stacked, and then we finally break out of that range, and we're at the highs potentially. So if we can break the highs right here, most likely we want to try to hit the perfect channel, which is around that 110, 105, 110 area. So if you can break above this 95, you could have a nice 10-point play right there. So you can also put spreads to fund some calls over here as well. That's why I usually like to trade. I'll sell the put spreads probably like around the support area right here. And then I'll buy some calls on the breakout. MEG's another energy name. This one's a Canadian name. They're highly leveraged in oil. So as long as oil prices do well, the stock will do really well. If you look at the weekly, they were also a tick out candidate as well. So if you look at the weekly, it's also has this cup and handle pattern on the weekly of this saucer bottom. We could be in like a major bottom of a major bull run for energy stocks, because I look at so many of these stocks and all of them have this exact same pattern, and they're all starting to break up out of their bottom range and start heading into that breakout area. So like this area right here. So if you can pass this like $11 area, $11 to $12 area, most likely we're going to come up and retest some of these highs around the 20, 25, and potentially even go up to 40 if oil can stay above $100, right? So right now it's around $70, which these oil stocks are actually still pretty good money around $70. Most of these energy stocks, they make money at 60. MP, so this is like one of my main stocks that I'm wheeling. It's a rare earth company, but it's one of the big rare earth companies in North America, and one of the I think it's the only big large cap rare earth company in North America. So they will be a beneficiary of Biden's plan of going stain materials and stuff like that locally. So there'll be a benefactor of that. And the chart is starting to look really good. It's in like this triangle as well. And it's almost time for breakout, right? It's been consolidating for quite some time. And this is a weekly chart. So most likely if we can break above this $40 area, it's going to go back up to test the highs and then into the next wave up. Longer term, I think this stock's going to be a pretty big stock. It's just set up for breakout right now. So this is a marijuana ETF. Marijuana stock's been like dead money for a while now, because it's waiting for legalization. So they did put a bill in, and if they can pass that in the Senate, these will most likely come back alive. But at the moment, it's still just dead money. But you can see the accumulation, right? You see the volume start picking up a lot. This is just the ETF, by the way. So you see the volume start picking up a lot. So meaning that either somebody knows something, or that the interest is starting to pick back up, right? So I've been start accumulating small on some of the names. So I've been buying like MSOS, and I've been buying CGC. I even bought a little bit of Tilray just for like a short squeeze play. So, but I've been accumulating very, very small. So once they get legalized, these things going to explode, because that's all everybody's waiting for is legalization. And so Micron, I heard that they're like the demand for memory chips are slowing down. So they might have a pretty bad quarter of earnings coming up. See what happens with earnings. Their chart is actually set up pretty nicely. It's around that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. So if earnings are good, most likely we're going to break out of this and start going higher. If it's bad, most likely we're going to tank, coming back down to 63, even potentially 55. And if it comes down to 55, that would be a pretty good area to get into for longer term play. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has been a monster of a stock. It's just not coming down. It's even when the stocks tanked, like it had a small pullback into 50-day moving average, and we already reclaimed it. So if the market continues to go up, this thing will most likely continue to run up. It is getting a little bit extended. The target was 250 that I had from this move right here. So most likely hit 250, and if it runs really, really well, it's going to hit that 300 area. So this is a really good name. You want to make it into your core name now. I was waiting for a stock split, so they finally split the stock, and now that it's in the range where I can start wheeling it without put up too much capital for every single contract. So it's only trading at 220 now, so it's more tradable. So this would be probably one of the names I'm going to start accumulating for longer term. NXPI is another semiconductor name. This the weekly, you see, start consolidating, and then it's just waiting for, and it's in a squeeze as well, weekly squeeze. So just waiting for a breakout. So once it breaks out on the daily, it's going to have a really big, the next big run up. So just look for that new high on the break. So if this breaks out, it potentially could be hitting up to that $300 area once it breaks out. Look, it's in the monthly. On the monthly chart, it's still looking super bullish, just holding the 8-day moving average. Until the 8-day moving average gets broken, you can probably stay in the stock and ride it higher, because this is one of the better semiconductor names as well to be in. OPED, this is a speculative SPAC. They're like Open Door, very similar company, but I just have it on my watch list because this is a big short squeeze play. So if you get squeezed, it can potentially run like a next big run up on this stock. So talking about Open Door, Open Door broken out of the base. So I traded this a few weeks ago. When I see that this big giant volume after earnings, I waited for the pullback, and then you can see that volume start picking up on open door, and then we broke above the moving averages, and we're on the verge of retesting this 200 in this area right here. If we can break 2250, then it's going to go back up and test like around that $30 area. So I have my levels over here, so I'm just waiting for this to break. Once this breaks, so I'll enter my next leg up, which will aim for $30 if it does. Oxy is another energy stock. You can see right here, trend around 200-day moving average, stacked all together. You look at the weekly, it is a cup and handle pattern as well, aiming for $40 on that stock. It's trading at 28, so. And gaming, I'm in the stock. I was hoping it'll break out the first time, but it failed. So right now we're making a higher low for continuation to go higher. So I'm most likely going to add to this next week. It's in a weekly squeeze right now. Monthly chart is just waiting for it to break above 85.70 for continuation. So if you look at the daily, I'm aiming for that $90 area. And if you can break out of this $95 area, then this stock can really run back up to the highs. So, but I'm only going for like a short trade. So I'm most likely going to aim for around that 95. And then if it does break out, then I'll add to it. If it doesn't, I'm most likely just going to take my profit up here. Plug is starting to look interesting. It's having this big long base. It's such a long squeeze already. It was in like this fallen wedge. If you zoom in, it was in the fallen wedge. We've broken out of the fallen wedge, stack moving averages. If it has some kind of news for that sector or earnings, good earnings, it's going to break this. It's going to aim for this 36, 37 area. And then you can put, these are your levels of resistance on the way up. But down here, your risk is pretty low. So and the premiums are still pretty good. So I still put spreads on this for income while I wait for the break of this. If it breaks that $30, I'm gonna go in with some calls, and then I'll aim for around that 36, 37 area for profit taking. PayPal is in continuation wedge as well. So it held the 200-day moving average. It's all the moving averages stacked right here. So it's going to consolidate for a while, and then all the moving averages is going to get stacked together, and then it's going to pick a direction. It's either going to break up and continue higher, or it's going to break down. So you can set your alerts. If you set the alerts on the breakout, aim for $300 and then 310 and then new all-time highs. Redfin, it's very similar to Open Door, same type of setup, but it's a little bit weaker than Open Door. I think Open Door is more profitable right now. Redfin's still losing money on their part of their business, so it's looking for a breakout. If you can break out of this wedge right here, most likely it's going to go retest this 65 area, and then if it picks up momentum, you can go retest this 78 area right here. So if you want to play this, you can either sell put spreads around the support midway. You can buy 1/3 of your intentional calls. So if you want to go in with 10 calls, you can buy 3 right now, wait for the breakout, add once it breaks 60. Once it breaks 60, you can add and then take some profits 65. And then if you continue higher, you can take profits around this area right here. Roku, I just got into a spread on this. I'm hoping that you'll hold this area right here. This is the support zone. It's trading right at the support zone, so it probably going to consolidate a little bit, and then most likely we want try to hit this 370 area to retest this moving averages of the 50 of the 200s right here. So I'm only looking for a small pop on this thing. So I'm looking for a small pop into this area, and then I'll probably be out. You can very well break above this and go for a big run, but I'm usually just going for a trade for these type of stocks. Stitch Fix. This is a giant wedge pattern right here. So looking for consolidation into tighter range, you see that there's a lot of accumulation happening after earnings. And I think it's a earnings beat that they just had. Yeah, it was a big beat. So most likely they're going to try to push this thing up above this, but they'll most likely find some resistance around this 200-day moving average right here. But it's only trading at 42 right now. If he actually goes up here, it'll be 56, would be a nice pop. So if you want to go in, just you could most likely sell put spread just below the 8 and 21 right here. If you want to just play it safe, or you can just go in with a small amount of calls, aim for that upper probably around that $50 area to start taking profits, and then 60 if you want to hold a little bit longer. This is Snap, just broke out this week, so you see that I set an alert right here, and on Friday it broke out. I was busy day trading Tesla and SPX, so I never got into this, but on Monday, I'll see what happens. If he comes back and retests this area and holds, I'm most likely going to enter. It's a little bit extended right now because you can see the 8 and 21's way down here. So, and it's almost at the 2 standard deviation range within this channel. So it's kind of extended on the breakouts. So if he pulls back and retest this and let the moving averages catch up, I'll most likely enter on the retest. STNG, this is a tanker stock. So if COVID cases starting to drop, or if everybody start vaccinating, these stocks are going to blow up because there are cyclical stocks. So we're at the bottom of the cycle. So if economy picks back up, these stocks will have a really huge run if you want to keep it for longer term. You can see right here is a big cup and handle pattern, and it's trying to break out of that. If you look at the weekly, it's like a fallen wedge formation with a round. It's kind of like a fallen like cup and handle kind of thing. If it breaks above like this area right here, 25, most likely you'll go back up to around that 40 if it breaks that 25 area. Yeah, this is another energy stock, same story, breakout potential. So this one's a little bit more advanced than the other ones. It actually already made it all the way back up to the neckline. So you can see right here, there's a big, huge volume shelf at this price range. So if it breaks out of this price range, it's a big deal. Most likely hit 60 and then continuation up higher to probably $100 on this. Trip. Start seeing signs of life on Trip. This is TripAdvisor. It's been falling for the longest time. Ever since that we were in this trade during November last year, and then it popped. We got out like way too early, like over here, and then it went all the way up to 64. Here it's starting to base. It's also a fallen wedge. It's starting to base. You can see momentum starting to pick up flat. So it's looking for a breakout. If you can break this $40 area, it most likely be a trend change, and then we can see it pop back up. So I'm just waiting for it to start curving back up. Tesla, we already did. This Tamarack is a Canadian oil and gas company, and this one's advanced further than the other ones. You can see that it was a cup and handle, and we already broken out of that cup and handle. We're into this resistance area already. So if this breaks, we're hitting for $5. Unity, going to gap fill. This trade already missed it. I got in right here, got out a little too early, and it took off. So waiting to see what happens once it gap filled. Uber. So Uber found that support right here. So I posted this before the big gap up. I posted that it was at a very heavy support area. And then you see the volume. This is accumulation volume. That's really, really high volume. So big institutions got into the trade. So last time this happened was this area right here when it was consolidating, and then a big institution buy up, pop, and then it ran up and then consolidated, drop back down. So most likely this will be the same scenario. We're going to aim for right now 52. Once 52 is broken, we aim for back up to the highs again. Oh, sorry, I missed all the chat comments. I'll look into those now. AMD. So AMD, I just got into AMD. AMD is in the bull flag formation. So you can see we had a big run, cool down, start consolidating, moving averages are stacked. It's in a squeeze. MACD is trying to curve back up on the 0 line. And if you look at the weekly, it looks like it is consolidating, just waiting for the moving averages to catch up for the next leg up, right? So it's trading at a major support because it's back down and retesting this high right here. Retesting this high right here. So which is also the 20-day moving average. So if it retests and it held, so now we bounce back up, we're looking for that break of that triangle. So if it breaks on that triangle, we're going to test the highs. And then if he breaks the highs, we're going to go up the next big leg up. So I'm really bullish on this. This was one of my core holdings. And then I was stupid enough to got rid of it when it was retesting the upper range of that channel that we've been trading in for the past year. So I got out of it like around right here. And then it continued higher. So I completely missed this move above this break right here. But I've been in the stock since like 30s, so I choked my profits on that.
Can I just ask you about your exit for AMD?
Exit, yeah.
Yeah, so you said that you got out obviously before the big move. Was there anything in any indication during that time that it would have continued that high, or would it have been like a 50-50? Like it could have easily just have gone down.
Yeah, it was 50-50, but you know, I was looking at market conditions as well. And at the time, it was heading into the weaker seasonality. So I thought, because we've been in this range for so long, right? We've been in this range for over a year. So this range right here, right? So we were in this range for over a year. It failed over here and then retest. And then it came up, and then I just kind of took my exit once it hit that area because I had covered calls on. That was the issue. I had covered calls on. So I usually cover call only half a position, but since every single time we get rejected this, I actually went cover call my whole position, right? Because I want to get into cash position for the summertime. And I completely missed this run because he popped right in August. I wasn't expecting it to pop because I thought we were going to get a correction around summer, and we never got it till like last week, right? So yeah, anyways, we broke above it, and now we're consolidating on top of it, which is pretty bullish. So as long as this holds and then we break above this, we're going to most likely go up the next big leg up. If I look at the extension. So longer term, we're looking at 150, next big leg up. So, but first it needs to break this all-time high, right? Once it breaks that all-time high, most likely hit 150 on the extension. So, and yeah, weekly's looking good, monthly's looking good as well. So monthly, we got that bull candle. So we have another bull candle. We're gonna get that continuation for the another continuation up into that area right there. So, because it does this every single time. See, last time you consolidated right here. See that? Consolidated, pop, consolidated, and pop, right? So it's going to do the exact same thing because these stocks tend to repeat themselves. So okay, so SC. So XC broke out this wedge pattern. It's consolidating right around that resistance. So that was the if you look, that was the extension from this move right here. So from here to the bottom, that was the goal, was to hit this area. That 100% area was 233, and we did hit that area. So we're consolidating underneath it. It's still looking really strong. It's starting to get into a squeeze. And if all you're looking for is a break above this, and then we're going to retest the highs, and then if it breaks the highs, then it's going to have the next leg up. If I do extension here, come down to, yeah, so so this mini extension, you see it matches exactly at 250, which is the highs right here. So that's most likely the next move up if it breaks above this consolidation. This to me looks like a big bull flag, right? So a big bull flag right here. We're going to pop, hit 250, going to find some kind of resistance or continuation higher. So, and once it breaks 250, then it's going to be a pretty big move up from there. So it's aiming to run into earnings. So I think that's what it's trying to do. So if it runs into here in earnings, if the earnings is good, it's going to break above, going to next move up. If not, it's going to get rejected and come back down. So and Nike. So Nike has a big gap to fill. I hate this gap because I lost so much money on this gap. I did Iron Condor on here for earnings, and then it ran. Yeah, so there's a big gap right here. It has to hold this area right now. This is called the gap support. So if it doesn't hold the gap support, it's going to gap fill. Meaning if this doesn't hold, it's going to come all the way back down to 130, right? So if it holds, it's going to just consolidate and continue higher. But if it doesn't, it's going to have to gap fill this because market makers need to make back the money. So it's going to need to fill this gap. In space. So space, that real nice run, come back, consolidate. I think there's a lot of like bad publicity from Richard Branson. I think he sold like a lot of his shares or something like that, right? It's consolidating right here. It's just flat line. You're looking for a breakout. You need to break above 32 to make a big move. And if it drops below this $23 area, I would get rid of it, because if it drops below 23, it's going to come all the way back to like 15 bucks. So see what happens right here. This is your area. So just set an alert on this range right here. So if it breaks above it, it's going to go for next trend up. If it breaks below, it's going to come all the way back down to the bottom range. So Adobe broke down. You see right here, it was in this giant big bull move, and then it just rolled over. So if you use the Fibonacci to see where it's going to find some support, it's trading right now at 0.23%. If it comes down to this $600 area, It's at the 0.382 area. Also, the 100-day moving average. So that is most likely the area it will try to hold. If it does not hold there, it can come down to around that 200-day moving average or this 550 area if that's the case. But usually, when you have a stock that's a big run like this, once the 8 and 21 breaks, that's when you take your profits because you don't want to give up all these gains, right? So if you were in this and you capture this whole move, take your exit and just lock in your profits. Costco, another crazy run right here of Costco. I was actually going to get into this when they made this inverse head and shoulders right here, and then it just consolidated and then broken out. So this is why these consolidations are such good breakout plays, because you can see right here, this is an inverse head and shoulders, and the neckline was right at the highs, and then we broke the highs, and then it went for a major move up. So it's aiming to go at this 485 area, which is the big move from here to here that's measured all the way up to 485, even 500. But it looks like it's starting to run out of steam, right? It's had a huge run. I would like to see it to come back to like 400 retest and then continue higher, but see what happens. If you look at the monthly, it's way extended, right? Because whenever a stock runs far away from the 8-day moving average, it means that the run's almost over. So I would start taking some profits up here, and then if it comes back and it holds the 8-day, that's you can re-enter if it holds the 8-day and it comes back. Let's see, Starbucks. So Starbucks was in like this channel and kind of broke the channel a little bit, held at 200. We're right back up to retest this channel break. So if it can go back above the moving averages right here, like say 120, if it can go back to 120 and then break back above, it will continue higher. If it gets rejected right here, it could have a potential breakdown if it does. But I think long-term Starbucks will be fine. So it's most likely just going to consolidate and then go back into the channel. Visa, it's looking really interesting because I posted this a little while ago when it came back retested 200, because it's in this nice uptrend right here. It did broke it temporary, and then we went back above it, right? So we broke back the 200 to the 821. We're at that 50. So this is the resistance area. That this 235 is resistance. We need to break 235 for continuation higher. If it breaks 235, most likely go back to test the highs right here at 250-ish. That would be a pretty good play if you can buy like on the break and then just sell around this area. If you look at the momentum, it's starting to shift a little bit, right? MACD cross, RSI picked up a lot of strength. So it's most likely get rejected the first time and then come back retest, and then it's going to go for that run up. Right. Right. Overstock. So Overstock is in like this huge wedge. I don't trade this stock often, but it's starting to look pretty good. You see it was in the wedge, it was consolidating on the bottom part of the wedge, and then it broke above the moving averages. Right now we're above all the moving averages. If there's a pullback into the 8-day and it held, that will be your entry. It's a little bit overbought right now. So if it comes back and retest, and then you can aim for like this $95 area if it does. Netflix actually looking really interesting. It was in this huge consolidation for like over a year, and we finally broken out of this range. We even made a new all-time high, came back, retest. This looks like a bull flag to me. So right. So this would be a consolidation area. If it consolidates right here and then it breaks above, it can make a pretty good run. If you look at the weekly, this is a really strong move, and it consolidated for so long. The longer the consolidation, the bigger the move. So the next leg up could be a huge move. If you use the extension, start from here. Yeah, so it can potentially hit $800 if it breaks out of this range. Once it makes a new all-time high, $800 is your goal. This usually be like a stock that I trade all the time. I sell credit spreads when it's at a lower range, and then I buy like a call for like a small amount of calls for a little pop, but it broken out of there. So the next play will be if it breaks out of this range, and then I'll probably buy some calls. This is another oil stock that looks like it's going to break out. Macy's, surprisingly, has a really good chart. So Macy's did that inverse head and shoulders right here. So you see there's the shoulder, there's neck. This is the neckline. We're right at the neckline. We just broke on the weekly chart, just broke the 200-day, retested 200, and then it popped right out of the retest. So if it can break this high of, I think it's $24, 24.25, this range right here. If it breaks this, most likely we're going to try to hit this area right here at 42. So that's an easy double if it continues on Macy's. This is just like plug. There's a nice big long base right here. You see this volume spike right here? That's a gigantic volume spike. That there's a lot of institution buying right here. So people are accumulating shares, most likely for a big pop coming up soon. So it's trading at $7. Your risk is pretty low if you want to bag hold this thing for the pop. You could get like probably a double on this thing because the next leg up, if it breaks, there's like 831, and then the next leg up is right here at 1262. So if it breaks this at 831, it's going to hit this 1252. And Vite also start basting. There is a 200-day moving average right here, which is resistance. It's not quite ready yet. It's just on the watch list. So right here, if you can break above this 3550 area, potentially hit 44, and then all-time highs. Those are your levels right there. If it comes up, you see the moving average is getting stacked right here, but there's a 200 right here that will be heavy resistance. So most likely you'll fail the first time, come back, retest, and then we go for the pop. So this is IWM. I'm looking, this is the Russell 2000, all the small caps. Is looking really good into strong seasonality. So I'm looking for it to retest the highs. Hopefully we get a break of the highs this year. If we get the break of the highs, that's a big change in trend, and it could go much higher after that. So right, that's pretty much all the symbols that I'm looking at for trading for the next little while. Do you guys have any chart requests? Any more chart requests? IQ. Man, all these Chinese stocks are getting killed. But if if things change, this is a steal down here. You see that it's trying to create like a double, like a triple bottom right here. If it holds, if there was good earnings, it holds. And then if if they stop putting China as the headline, this stock will most likely come all the way back up to around 16 right here, because this is the bottom of this range, right? I traded this for years and I made money on this every single time except for this one time. All because of the sentiment is so bad on Chinese stocks. It's not even about them. It's just sentiment itself on Chinese stocks. So that'll be your first stop right there. It's going to bounce, going to try hit this 12 first, which is the bottom of this block right here. So it's going to hit 12. He breaks 12. He's going up to 16. That's your range. And then it's most likely consolidate right here and then go back into the channel if all things as well. Because I think once all the things calm down, all the crackdowns are over, all the news, all the headlines are gone, people's going to buy these things up like there's no tomorrow. Like same with Baba, same with Neo, like Tiger, all of those names, because they all make money and they all like have really good valuations right now. It's just poor sentiment. So once sentiment changes, then those stocks going to run like crazy. You're going to have to be pretty patient on that. Yeah, Ron already covered Airbnb already. Neo. Oh shoot! Wow, this chart looks nice. This is a biotech company. Oh, didn't even know that existed. Neo. So I think Neo, these are all buying opportunities down here. If you have money, I would keep accumulating shares because that's what I'm doing. It's in they just built their Neo house in Norway. They just got a brand new battery that's way better than any other battery, and they're expanding like crazy. So it's in this big giant wedge. It's at the bottom of the range. Most likely the lowest you can go is $30. If it does back up the truck, even right now, I would back up the truck if I wasn't already in it for too much. I got 25,000 shares in this stock right now, so it's about $1 million. Things where in your ranking points we use money flow like that. Yeah, Ed, I look at price action first. So if I see like money flow into the stock, I look at where the stock is trading at. So if the stock is trading at support and you see all these flows start coming in, then most likely something's happening. Or if you see like giant flow coming into a stock for no apparent reason, somebody must know something. So I do use the flow as a indicator as well now, because I can see those flows now. So like every single time I see a stock has massive flow coming through, the stock, it's usually people accumulating the shares and then pushing the stock up later. So if it doesn't move on that day, it's going to move shortly after once you see the flow start coming through. This so Disney. So I'm in Disney. I took part profits already, and then I held on to the other half. It's still holding the trend right now. I'm going to adjust this to like that now. It's holding the trend. It's below the moving averages, so it's not looking great at the moment, but like I believe in the company, so it's in like this massive consolidation right here. So once the consolidation is done, like most likely as the range gets tighter and tighter and tighter, it's waiting on news. So if the next earnings is good And if like the Delta variant goes away, people vaccinate and all stuff like that, this stock's going to pop hard once that happens. So just be patient. Just wait for a longer term play on that. Blank. I'm in blank. I'm in it pretty heavy now because it's getting tighter. You see the range right here, it's getting smaller and smaller. And I think somebody just posted about the infrastructure bill. So if that bill passes and the money gets deployed, they're planning 500,000 charge stations. So they're gonna get a piece of that pie. So once that gets approved, I think these stocks will start getting a little bit of action. Just pay attention to the volume, right? You can see how volume is pretty well died off. Once you see volume start picking up, that's your indication that trend's going to change soon and a big explosive move will come, is when that volume start picking up. SPWR. So I was stupid and choke my loss on this thing just before Monday. You can it's basting and it's most likely going to make a big move soon. So that infrastructure bill has solar power in there as well. So once those policies change and money start going deployed, I'm pretty sure this sector will pop. This is a pretty good sector to go into for a trade. Longer term though, like solar power is great and all, but it's really competitive. So their margins are pretty tight, but they do make a lot of money. We stocks, yeah. So I've been accumulating a lot of small portions on we stocks because it's getting so cheap now that you can actually bag hold these for a little while and just wait for the news. Once legalization happens, that's when you're going to make your money. You're going to make like tenfold at this price if legalization happens. Because this is what happened last time when there was speculation that Biden was going to legalize. He went from same price that we're at now, $14, all the way up to $56, like within a few months. That's 5 months. It went up like 4 or 5 times, right? 5 times your money right there. So if you want, you can start selling puts down here. Just start accumulating shares, and just wait for the news. If you want, you can buy a little bit of leaps. At this price point, your risk is pretty low because they still have a few $1 billion in the bank on Canopy. And if you don't want individual risks, you can just buy the ETFs. MSOS is the US one that I like to buy. MJ has both US and Canadian names, but I would focus more on the US names right now because they're profitable. The only Canadian name that I actually like is CGC. I do have a little bit of tail ray for like a short squeeze, but like they're all going to be short squeeze once legalization happens. It goes up so fast that you probably will miss the first initial pop. Like if they say it's going to legalize, I can almost guarantee you this stock will be $20 in like a day or two if that happens. So light speed. Is that Lightspeed? Yeah, it is. So they're saying that Lightspeed is going to be like Shopify. I wish I got into this stock because I was looking at this thing at like $30, and I was like looking. I was like, man, like I their point of sale system, like I use point of sale for the restaurant, and it's a really good system, and it's expensive. You have to pay by the month now. Like before, you just pay like the one-time fee. Right now, it's all monthly subscription. And they can attach that to like Shopify. They can attach that and like make brick and mortar businesses online, so they'll be all connected. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And if they do that, they're going to get a piece of that Shopify pie, right? So I think that's what everybody's looking at. So you can see right here, It had a big run up, consolidated right here, pop, consolidated, pop. So look for the consolidation, look for the next consolidation, and then like get in for the next pop if it does. But right now it's just so high. I wouldn't get into it now. It's just it went to the moon already. So I would wait for consolidation. Let the 50-day moving average catch up with the price, like right here, like what it did right here. You see that? It catch up with the price. It broke down a little bit, consolidated, and then we break back above it. So that's what you're looking for on the next leg up, is to have a consolidation move, let the moving averages all catch up, and then for the next breakout. Upstart already went to the moon. I wouldn't be buying it now, it's so extended, but they are saying this is worth $900. So if it does pull back, and then all the moving averages catch back up and consolidate for a little while, it needs to consolidate for a while. If you consolidate for a while and let everything catch up, then I'll probably get into this thing. But right now it's way overextended. I'm not going to try to catch it. Same with Affirm is the same thing. It's overdone already. Affirm. Yeah. Tesla is the king of that. Tesla love making these triangle patterns, like right here. This is the massive one right now. So like if you look at this was the original pattern that I told everybody to get in when it was trading at below $700. So look at this pattern, look for the breakout. So it went into pattern breakout, retest, and then it continued higher. So it's been doing that ever since like the initial move up, right? So it has consolidation, triangle pattern, pop. This is a big triangle pattern. So the bigger the triangle pattern, the bigger the pop. So the next run up, Kathy Wood might get her $2,000 or $3,000 price point on next leg up. So yeah, if you look at the weekly chart, this could be a pretty massive move. So you use from start of the move to right here. Yeah, this could be $1,400 stock on the next big leg up, $1,400 on Tesla. And look at that, a weekly squeeze has been triggered. So a weekly squeeze been triggered. Monthly's not great, but it's still holding up. And the daily's about to break out. So, and they have earnings coming up. Their delivery numbers will give you a hint which direction we're gonna go. You're going to actually go up into earnings and break out, or we come all the way back down with disappointing numbers. Coin. Coin depends on Bitcoin. So it just came back into the support zone here now. So it's below the moving average. So it's not looking great. It most likely come to the bottom range, consolidate, and then move back up. And it really depends on Bitcoin. So yeah, so Bitcoin is making like a lower high right here. It's consolidating right here or below a lot of moving averages. So you're looking for a pop back above 55,000. So we need to pop back above 55 for continuation. If we don't, if we get rejected again at 50, it's going to come back down to around that 30,000 to retest that. So just be very careful on Bitcoin news right now. And I think that China ban has some effect on the stock. So if you look, it's in this big wedge formation. So Bitcoin most likely going to do this, hit back, retest that, and then break out. So it might be a little while before there's any any kind of action unless there's some news that we can break out this upper range right now. So we already did Nike. Nike has a big gap that needs to be filled right here. Any more stocks? I got 20 minutes before I have to go. So CRM. Yeah, so I love CRM. We're back into the highs. If we break above this high, it's going to have a big move up. This stock can be like $500. So if you look at, oh shoot. Yeah, it's aiming for 380. That's the next leg up, 380. 380 if things are good. Like I said, $500 up here. So Lemonade. So I'm in Lemonade. I'm most likely going to end up taking the shares on Lemonade and that put spread that I did. So Lemonade's in like this big giant downwards trend, right? So it's back up, back to IPO price right now. So let's see. Yeah. So that's your range for Lemonade. If it continues down, most likely going to hit that 58.80 to retest this bottom right here. If it holds, if it can break $80, it's most likely it's going to be a long way up, I think, because there's a lot of resistance right here. So there's that, there's this, and then this. But it doesn't take much to move these stocks, though. If once they start moving, they really move. So right here, I don't mind accumulating shares at this bottom range, and then I'll just wait for the pop because I really like this company, AI insurance company. So longer term, I think it's good. Let's see, Apple. So I still have a little bit of Apple leaps left. I took profits on Apple up here. I took half of it off, and then it tanked. I wish I took the rest of it off, but I was busy day trading something else. This big red candle right there was your indication to get out. I should have took that exit when it broke that 21 day, but like I said, I was distracted. I already choked my profit up here, so. But it came down. It kind of tested this bottom range right here, and it found support. So we're back into this resistance area right here. It needs to come back above this area. Like it would be best if we can come back above 150. If we can get back above 150, most likely we'll have a continuation. If we get rejected right here, you can come back to the bottom part of the channel, which is around that 135 area, right? Which is also the 200-day moving average right here. If it comes down to 135, I would buy some more leaps. I would add back the half that I took off if it comes down to here. They usually have a strong seasonality in November, leading into Christmas. So ARC. I'm actually planning on buying some ARC leaps because ARC is in like a wedge. You can see ARC's in like a wedge right here. He also has a mini wedge right here, right? So it's in a wedge formation. We're at the bottom of the range. There's a lot of resistance right here. So it needs to break above this area right here. 126, and then it needs to break above this. This is a big area. 130 is a huge area that needs to break past. Once it breaks above 130, it's going to run back up to 160 because there's not much in the way once it breaks above this resistance. Because you see right here, this is the volume shelf. So all the buyers and sellers are in this general area. So once all the supply has been taken out, all is left is demand. There's not a lot of supply up this side, so it'll most likely run all the way up to the highs if it breaks that. LCR, I took some profits off. I only got half my position left. We're consolidating just below this breakout area, right? So there's a gap right here that needs to be filled at 31.87. So I am looking for that gap fill to get rid of half of whatever I have left. And then potentially, if it continues, we'll hit that $38.40 area if it continues. From the look of this, the first level resistance is that gap fill. And then if it's strong, we'll hit that 1.618 area. So, which it can be very likely hit, because look at this volume, right? Look at these volume right here. These are accumulation volume. So there has been pretty good accumulation right here. We're just looking for continuation. So I was simple as that. SE, C limited. So C limited is been a beast of a stock. It's going to continue higher. See right here, bull flag. We broke out this big range right here. We have a nice pop from there. It's consolidation right here. It's waiting for the 50-day to catch up, consolidate, and then it's going to break and probably go much higher after that. So every single time it has like a consolidation. So if the 21 catches up to the 8, and then we break out, there's still a lot of room. There's no sign of slowing down for the stock right now. Like, absolutely no sign. PayPal. I think we did PayPal already. Yeah, we did. We did PayPal already. It's in the consolidation. You're looking for a break above this, and this would be your target, right? Oops. That's your first target, and then your second target would be the highs right here if it breaks above. Your stop would be the 200-day moving average right there. Roblox. We played the pop, and then we profited. We got out of it. It's just consolidating right here right now. So it needs to. It's in a range. This is the range. So whenever it comes down to a lower range, you can buy. When it start going up to the upper range, you can sell. So I would just trade that till it breaks out. Oh, my baby's awake, so I have to go soon. FSKR. Oops. What's FSKR? Ron, what's FSKR? Or maybe I spelled that wrong. PD. So PD. So it was in a consolidation. You see right here, it popped above it, but it failed, right? So it popped above the consolidation area. Usually it popped and it continues, but it popped and failed. It came back, it retest, and then we're right back on this resistance area once again. So you want to see it go back above this pop right here, 50, and then we're gonna go for the highs. Right. Oh, Fisker. Fisker. It's starting to see right here, starting to get some interest, but it still needs to break back above like this area right here, right? So it needs to break that, and then it needs to break this. So if it breaks that, most likely going to test this, and then we're going to go for highs. But you can see that we're in a squeeze, and the MACD is starting to curve above the zero line. Relative strength's pretty good. So, and there's some higher than average volume right here as well, but it really needs to pop above this $17 area. Oh, AXPI. Yeah, I'm starting to accumulate pretty big on AXPI because I love the chart right now. You see right here, and we had great earnings. Last earnings was just huge. You see the volume spike right here. That's really good earnings, and that's institutional buyers right there. So there's been a lot of people buying and accumulating. So we're in the accumulation phase. You can see that it's consolidating into triangle right here. It's bounced off this 200-day moving average twice here. We're just about to break out. So once it breaks out, I'm looking at $60. Yeah, around $60. And then if that breaks, and then we're going up to right here at this 70, 75 area. So this could run, like this thing can really run. The XPI, when it runs hard. So but you do want to see higher spikes in volume. So if this breaks above, you want to see a big spike in volume on that break. Yeah, I might do this once a month. We'll see. And yeah, if I get more people to like join the Discord and the Facebook group, then I can probably do this more often, because I need to get more interest so that it makes me interested to do this kind of stuff. Make sure to tell your friends. If anybody is not in the Discord service, you could use this coupon, MO50 off, and you get 50% off your first month there, to give us a try if you wanted to. Yeah, for the people that are already in Discord members, I might do this monthly for you guys in a private session later on. But like I said, I really need more people to be in the group for me to make this worthwhile. So I'm just waiting to get more members right now. I'm just a little bit too busy to advertise to get some members. So if you guys have friends that trades options, and I'll just let them know about the service. Yeah, I did a live day trading session with Ron the other day, and I find it really distracting, because I was keep telling Ron, if it breaks up there, I buy calls, and I end up buying puts. So I was half awake too, so it wasn't proper timing. But I might do that later on. I am working on the day trading course, but since I have the baby, I'm just way too busy for it right now. So it probably will be a while before I can do one. I should have did it on Friday. Friday I had a really good day trading. I think I did like I was trading Tesla and SPX. I made money. I think 14 out of the 15 trades. So I have one miss on there, but it was a really good day. All right, guys, I'm on call it a night. My baby just woke up, so I gotta go. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you so much.